yeah, what is going on, everybody? Welcome. Eagles versus Bears pregame live. Joining me, my man Ryan from Philly Sports Alliance. What's good, Ryan?
Not much, man. Ready for this game? Ready to watch the Birds get another victory, and let's go.
Let's jump right into this thing. Eagles take on the Bears. The Bears lead the series 29-16-1, but the Eagles have won 5 straight games against the Bears since 2013. I'm going to throw it to you, Ryan. Do you have a favorite Eagles versus Bears memory that comes to your mind?
I mean, how can you not? I mean, at least for someone of my age, this is like one of the earliest memories. The Eagles Bears fogball game. I mean, I know somewhere in this house I have an old VHS tape of that game somewhere. It's probably lost somewhere, but I know I have it, and I literally find it probably every year or so, and I watch it again. Yeah. I'll have to obviously find a VCR, every time. But it's such a great memory as far as again, like I said, it's an early memory. It's Randall. It's just the mystique of that game with that you could barely see anything, and it was. That's definitely one of my earliest memories of Eagles Bears, for sure.
That's a good one. The double doink against the Bears back in the 2018 Wild Card Series. That was just epic, man. You had Cody Parkey, I think was his name.
Yep.
Hit the upright, then hits the crossbar. 10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, man. I remember exactly where I was for that game. I remember sitting on my couch, not moving, because as an Eagles fan, you're waiting for a penalty.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can't.
Until this year, good things don't happen to us very frequently. And especially when it comes to lucky things like that. But I just vividly remember the Chicago Bears mascot after the miss, just looking like he just got sniped from the stands, just falls over.
Yeah.
And then you have the famous Chris Collinsworth call, the Chicago Bears season is going to end on a double doink, and that was an epic moment.
I mean, the fact that it was a former Eagle kicker.
Yeah,
they had struggled with their kicking all year, and it was a pretty epic moment. I definitely remember going into work that next day, and I worked with a Chicago Bears fan, and he couldn't even look at anybody. He was just so distraught. It was great.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal if you're a Chicago Bears fan in that situation. Absolutely brutal. But let's move on. Let's get into injury report, and then we'll talk about top matchups to watch on the offensive defensive side, and then predictions and player of the game predictions. Let's talk about injuries. Dallas Goedert was not activated in this one. The Eagles opened up a 21-day practice window for Goedert earlier this week, but he will not be playing in this one. Per Adam Schefter, Goedert is on track to return Week 16 against the Dallas Cowboys, so that is a good thing. We also have Brett Kern here. He's the new Eagles punter, maybe an upgrade. We'll see. But he'll also be the holder moving forward. I believe he's going to play, if I'm wrong.
They have said. They haven't really come out and set, and officially said it, but they have no other options. I mean, Elliott can only do so much, and I know the coach said they don't want Kobe Holden anymore. So
let's give a shout out though. He did a pretty bang up job considering
for not having done it in quite some time. Absolutely. And as far as Dallas, it would have been nice to get him, even in a very limited role, some snaps, get some rust off, just kind of get used to the game speed before the Dallas game next week. But as long as he's on track for full participant in that game, I'll be just fine. So.
Yep. All right. And then you've got the biggest news here, I think, is no elevation for Anthony Harris. The Eagles re-signed Anthony Harris. He started 14 games for them last year. You look at Reed Blankenship out with a knee injury. You look at Gardner Johnson still on injured reserve. I'm shocked that Anthony Harris is not playing in this one, considering you've got Epps, Wallace, and Josiah Scott to basically man the safety spot in this one. I know there's not a lot of playmakers on the Chicago Bears side, and we'll break that down in just a second. But are you a little shocked about that at all?
Yeah. I mean, I would have assumed that was that was going to be the play. I mean, you obviously bring him in. You have somebody here who doesn't need that same kind of ramp up to kind of figure things out, get the terminology, know the plays. He basically can come right in. And considering the way, Wallace played, I mean, Wallace absolutely looked lost out there last week.
Let's say it lightly.
Quite literally. Like, he literally was like, what? Me? Am I supposed to do something now? Like,
he was a step behind every time.
Yeah, it was awful. So, like, even just, Anthony Harris just being that vet, he can at least come in, may not be as good as he once was, but he's not going to be completely just dumbfounded out there like Wallace. So I was very shocked. I'm not a fan of this. You're right. If there was a week with everything going on with the Chicago Bears and just their passing attack and with all the injuries, I mean, I guess this is the most opportune time to kind of have this, but still, I'm a little confused for sure.
Yeah, I fully agree. Let's roll on. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears injury side. Chase Claypool, probably the Bears' best wide receiver, most talented wide receiver, hasn't practiced since Wednesday. He is officially out. Yep. And then you've got the top two wide receivers for the Bears. Stop me if you know these guys, Ryan. Go ahead right away. You've got Dante Pettis and Equinemius
St. Brown. Yeah. So just because I'm a absolute weirdo, I do know who those guys are. The fact of the matter is that they are the 1 and the 2. It is really sad. I mean, Pettis, honestly, the most famous thing about him is I'm pretty sure he has pink hair, and he used to be on the Rams for a split second. I'm not even going to pronounce his first name anymore. St. Brown, again, the reason why, because I know he was on Green Bay last year. He's also brothers with Amon St. Brown from the Lions. So obviously there's that connection. But yeah, the fact of the matter is you have Darnell Mooney, who kind of was coming out this year, having a pretty good year. Now he's on IR. They traded for Chase Claypool, who, for whatever reason, and this always seems to happen in Pittsburgh, where they have a really great set of wide receivers, 3-4 guys at a time. And there's always that one guy that just kind of gets lost, even though they're very talented. And that clearly was Chase Claypool. He had a great rookie season, kind of got lost last year in his second year. And hopefully, again, he can kind of shine, went healthy in Chicago. But, I mean, you have those two guys out, not great. And then, like you said, Pettis. Pettis is a poor man's fourth option. And the fact that he's going to be your starter is pretty sad.
Yeah, how the Bears completely destroyed their playmakers for Justin Fields is quite impressive. These two, St. Brown and Pettis, have a total of 31 catches for 3 touchdowns this year. That is
actually more than I expected.
All right, let's talk about matchups. We have Rich in the house saying good morning, fly Eagles fly. What's up, Rich? Go Birds, baby. If you're watching this live, comment. Let's talk about Eagles offense versus Bears defense. The Eagles offense ranks first in points, third in yards. They rank 14th in passing yards and second in rushing yards. You look at the Bears defense, they rank 32nd when it comes to DVOA. They are 31st against the pass, 29th against the run. They're inexperienced in the secondary, which we'll talk about. They have no pass rush whatsoever up front, which we'll talk about. And they have a league worst 16 sacks in the NFL. I'll throw it to you first, man. What's a key matchup to watch? Eagles offense versus Bears defense.
Well, you said it is their secondary is very young. They definitely have some good playmakers potentially there. Yeah, I really like Brisker. I really liked him coming out of the draft. Obviously, a kid from Penn State would have been, considering what we were dealing with in this offseason, safety was a big need for us. As we all, harken back to the Jordan Davis versus Kyle Hamilton, selection, as we all thought, oh no, we had a chance, but obviously working out well for us. I'm kind of going to be paying attention to those young kids, seeing how they play against some badass wide receivers. Honestly, I mean, they are going to have to put on their best show if they want to even have a shot against A.J. Brown, against Devontae Smith, Quez, you name it. They are going to have their hands full. So, as far as the rest of the defense goes for Chicago, you trade away Roquan Smith, who is really the heart of that defense. You trade away Robert Quinn, the vet. You trade him to the Eagles, and obviously he hasn't really done much for us, but and sadly he's going to be still on IR and not able to play this game. But it's they don't have anybody. I mean, honestly, if you go through their roster, they're starting starting 11 on defense, outside of somebody like a Brisker, a rookie who's kind of showing up this year for his rookie season. There's not a lot of names that you're going to be like, oh yeah, that guy. I've heard of that guy. Yeah. And you'll I can never remember his name. The undrafted rookie from Wisconsin, linebacker. Yes, he honestly, it's been such a great story. As anybody who knows me, I love linebackers. I feel like they're the most underappreciated position on the defense. And this kid came out of nowhere. I mean, he obviously didn't get drafted. But he's balling. He is absolutely making a name for himself. So he's another guy I'm absolutely going to be paying attention to, just to kind of see how he does against this high-powered Eagles offense.
Yeah, Sanborn is probably going to get asked to do way too much today, which is do a little spying on Jalen Hurts, and I don't think that's going to go well. And Jack Sanborn has done terrific filling in as the starter for the Bears since his gig, week 9-ish, and he's done really well. Yeah, almost like the TJ Edwards when he jumped in that starting lineup and kind of hit the ground running. Right. Jabari's in the house saying, "Let's go Birds." Thanks for joining, Jabari. Ashley, thanks for joining, Ashley. Let's go Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Just kind of touching on all of that. The inexperienced secondary is going to get just picked apart. Obviously, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, I'm not going to get into those two guys. They are what they are. They're absolutely sensational. We touched on this during Birds of the Roundtable on Tuesday night. Shameless plug there. But Jalen Johnson was a second-round pick from Utah back in 2020. He's your boundary corner. He's going to be hoping to be all over A.J. Brown. Through 10 games as a starter this year, he's allowed 319 yards on 23 completions while being targeted 35 times. And he's only let up one touchdown this year. So he's had a really strong year. And then you get to Jaquan Brisker, who's had a really good year. True or false? Jaquan Brisker leads the Chicago Bears in sacks.
I believe he's tied for the lead in sacks, is he not?
He's got 3 sacks. The Bears leading pass rusher is Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State.
Isn't Robert Quinn up there too?
Yeah, Robert Quinn is third on the team. Third on the Chicago Bears in sacks. I'm going to get to pass rush in a second, but Brisker's really good, man. He's had a very strong year. I just have that pesky feeling that they're going to air it out to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith early on in this one because The Bears offense, is a heavy rushing offense, which we'll talk about that in a second. But if you can make this Bears offense one-dimensional, this game's over. And by that I mean Justin Fields and the pass. You look at this pass rush or lack thereof for the Chicago Bears. Like I said, Jaquan Brisker is the highest sacker on the Bears with 3.
Yeah, if you're saying that, there's a problem. Rookie defensive back is your leading sack getter. Not a good sign.
The Eagles, on the Eagles end, they have 5 players with 6 or more sacks.
Right.
All right. So the Bears are the second worst when it comes to sack percentage, dead last when it comes to sacks per game. You look at the blitz, they blitz on 19% of dropbacks. That usage ranks 25th in the NFL, and they get a positive play on those 29th best in the league. So not a good blitzing team, not a good pass rushing team. Jalen Hurts should have all day to pick apart this young, inexperienced secondary. They just cannot rush the passer. I think that's a huge advantage for the Eagles. It's going to be really interesting how the Eagles offense picks apart this Bears defense, because we saw like last week and the week before, they want to run the ball, they can dominate you on the ground. They want to throw the ball, they can dominate you with the pass. It's going to be kind of pick your poison here. If I had to guess, I think they're going to use the pass in this one. I think they're going to, just like we have seen in previous weeks, I expect Jalen Hurts to go deep early and often to AJ, to Devontae, get that young secondary for the Bears stretched out, get them moving. Or it could be the exact opposite, like we've seen. Who knows? I'll guess they use the pass first, but play action and boom, touchdown. I don't know.
It's so funny. It's like I feel like every time you think you have a handle on what this Eagles offense is going to do, they just do something else. I mean, because they can literally do whatever they want out there, which is such a beautiful and freeing thing for an offense.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I expect them to go heavy pass early, build up that lead, get into the second half, and then just pound the ball into their faces. Because again, they can, and they'll. And again, like you said, it's going to make them very one-dimensional. I know that's their goal. Their goal is, hey, listen, let Justin Fields' arm beat us. If we lose that way, well, you know what? That's on us. But I totally feel like that has to be their game plan. Fields is, listen, he is an amazing athlete. He can absolutely get outside of the pocket and create havoc. But when it comes to his arm, he's not there yet. He may never be, and especially considering he has no one to throw to. I mean, quite literally, you have 2 people that most people don't even know are professional athletes. So it has to be the game plan, and the best way to do that is to force them into that by getting up early, airing the ball out, get quick scores, and then just pound the rock in the second half.
I fully agree. Let's look at Eagles defense versus Bears offense. The Eagles defense ranks 7th in points allowed and 2nd in yards allowed. They are the number 1 ranked pass defense and 18th ranked rush defense. You look at the Bears and the Eagles, man. These 2 teams, they're 1st and 2nd. They are the 1st and 2nd rushing offenses in the NFL. Fields and Hurts are 1st and 3rd respectively in quarterback rushing yards. They're 1st and 2nd in quarterback rushing touchdowns. You look at Eagles defensively, they're 3rd in pressure percentage and 1st in sacks. And let's jump into top matchups to watch between the Eagles defense versus the Chicago Bears. I'll lead us off. I think the one to look for, and you just were kind of touching on it, is Justin Fields versus Jonathan Gannon. That pretty much begins and ends the Chicago chances to win this game. It gets a little juicy here. Justin Fields is arguably the best running quarterback in the game. We have seen the Eagles, especially the last 3 to 4 weeks, stack the box a lot more. You look at statistically for Justin Fields on the ground on designed quarterback runs, averages 6.3 yards per carry, 27 first downs. On scrambles, Justin Fields averages a ridiculous 9 yards per carry, and he has 28 first downs. All of those rank first in the league for the Bears. So obviously they want Justin Fields to get out of the pocket, get this guy in space, get those big plays with his legs. You have to Jonathan Gannon absolutely has to account for the play action, for the RPOs. The Chicago Bears run the second most play action passes in the NFL. So obviously they love to get Fields out of the pocket and moving. There is a drawback, though, to that, Ryan, and that is Justin Fields holds on to the ball for way too long. He has kind of that Carson Wentz in him. I'm not blaming him because he doesn't have anybody to throw to. But this dude has 3.12 seconds to throw this year. Only Zach Wilson averages more. He's thrown 10 interceptions. He's fumbled 8 times. And you look at the Eagles' defense, man. This is a team that leads the NFL in takeaways, obviously leads the league in sacks. They have a chance to break the all-time single-season team record of 61 sacks that was set back in 1989 with Buddy Ryan. So, if, like you said, for all the reasons above, if the Eagles can attack heavy first, downfield, get Justin Fields and the Bears offense playing behind, throwing the ball a ton, there could be a lot of sacks in this game, a lot of turnovers in favor of the Eagles. I'll throw it to you. Reaction to that and another matchup you're looking at.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. It's really the game plan against Justin Fields and trying to contain him as much as possible. We don't necessarily, out of our starting linebackers, I don't really know if we would have somebody I would prefer to kind of be that spy. Just don't think, speed-wise, it would probably work out for us. Maybe, again, if you're going to throw Nakobe Dean in there, which I'm all in favor of, he might be the fastest guy out there able to and maybe hang with Fields. But, it's absolutely going to be the game plan of kind of trying to contain him within the pocket. You already have a defensive line, like you said, leads the league in sacks. 49 sacks so far this year. I mean, 12 more to get the all-time Eagles record. I'm pretty sure we're going to be busting through that record.
That's awesome, man. Like that. Like let that soak in for 1 second, man. We're on the cusp of having the all-time sack record this year. Yeah. Remember all the seasons before that we were complaining, man. Me and you, like, get home. When are we going to get home? And they're having the best ever. Best ever.
And I remember we did our prediction show. We kind of did the over/under of how many sacks. I know. I don't remember what number we set it at, but I know I went under.
I'm pretty sure you went over on everything.
I went over on everything except for sacks. I was like, nah, dude, there's no way, because I had no faith, because they would always get right there and just would never get that and bring down the quarterback. And for whatever reason, it is absolutely working this year. You have a potential for 5 players to have over 10 sacks on this team. I mean, that right there gets you 50 sacks, 11 away from the all-time Eagles record. I mean, it's very possible that by the end of the Dallas game, most of those guys should be over 10. You're like, I think that defensive line is going to have a field day. The offensive line for the Chicago Bears is not very good. So the fact that Justin Fields has 3.12 seconds to get rid of the ball, I'm shocked he has that much time.
Because holding on to the ball. It's more
obviously
running around in the back and
exactly. I mean, I kind of half joking, but that's what we got to do. We got to get him. We got to get him uncomfortable. But when he starts going on the outside, we have to make sure we contain him and force him to throw that ball, because those throws are going to be the throws that gets picked off. Those are the ones that are going to get batted down, because Justin Fields is not that good of a passer, especially when you're getting pressured, you're throwing on the run. bad things happen. So again, that's I'm looking for the defensive line to eat today. I'm going to predict 6 sacks total. Get us halfway there to the record. So
Love it. Another guy to keep an eye out for here in this one is Cole Kmet, one of Justin Fields' favorite targets here. He was taken 43rd overall by the Bears in the 2020 NFL Draft. He's gotten better every year. He's been playing the most snaps of the season in recent weeks. The Eagles have been good against tight ends, but if what we expect happens, I think Cole Kmet could probably have a pretty arguably career game. If they're down by like 14-21 early on in this one and they're going to be passing the ball a lot, I expect the ball heavily to go to Cole Kmet. Maybe he eclipses 100 yards and has a career game in this one. And then obviously we have to touch a little bit on the Bears rushing offense. The Bears, no team runs more than the Bears. 58.6% of their call plays are on the ground. And they, I think, number one in efficiency, 5.4 yards per carry. Khalil Herbert is out. Unfortunately, he's had a really good year. And then we're going to get a heavy dose of David Montgomery in this one. He has averaged 4.6 yards per carry on 15 carries per game the last 3 games. So that's a little bit about the Chicago Bears. Any thoughts on their rushing game?
Yeah, I mean their rushing game obviously is pretty decent. The injury to Herbert, he's been a little banged up pretty much his whole career, sadly. He's definitely one of those guys where he's a playmaker, and you never know. He could touch the ball and go 60 yards. He's just that dynamic. But Montgomery is a very good running back. I think he gets a little lost in the shuffle around the league, with the big names, Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry and, et cetera, et cetera. I've always liked him. I've always thought he was a solid back. He's definitely not a flashy guy. He's definitely not, a big home run hitter, but he's a dude, as you said, gets you 4.6 and just bangs out those tough yards. And yeah, it's definitely going to be another a different test for the Eagles run defense. The last couple of weeks we've been having, very, very good runners. But this one's going to be a little different. He's going to kind of slowly kill you if you let him. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on that. And but part of the reason why most of the the runs, you said 58%, well, it's because they do a lot of quarterback designed runs with Fields, because they know that's his bread and butter right now. That's where he's excelling at. So if we can limit those quarterback design runs, I think we're I don't think they're going to be able to do anything if we're shutting that down and forcing him to throw the ball. So I just hope we can continue our improved run game from a couple of weeks ago. As let's get into the top half of the league in the rush defense. Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha.
All right. Yeah, we've seen the Eagles defense commit a lot to the run lately. A lot more stacked boxes, like I said at the start of the show. On the offensive side, we've seen a lot more design runs from Jalen Hurts. We've seen a little less RPO. We've seen a lot more dropbacks. A lot of that's because of the absence of Dallas Goedert, I think.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in. I'm going to ask you a question before we get into player of the game and score predictions. Okay. I'm going to throw this one to you. Over under on points for the Eagles today, 39.5.
Just for the Eagles?
For the Eagles. Just for the Eagles.
Well, I think I'm going to have to go over, because on the Birds of the Round Table, I'm pretty sure I predicted a 42 to something score. So if I want to stay true to that, I'm going to go over.
All right. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. And isn't that crazy to think, like, I would be shocked if the Eagles don't put up 40 points in this one.
Well, I mean, think about it. They've been averaging about 43 points the last three or so games against much better defenses, in my opinion. The Chicago Bears, again, are just ripe to get points scored on them. So if we're scoring 40, over 40 on some of these other teams, I don't see how we're not scoring 40 against the Bears.
I agree. All right, player of the game and score predictions. You're up, man.
Oh man, you know what? As much as I think the Eagles will be passing the ball a lot today, I think when it comes down to it, and at the end of the day, I'm going to give it to Miles Sanders. I think he's going to have another over a $125-ish, maybe a touchdown or two. Again, it may not happen. Most of the yards may not happen until the second half, as we're kind of milking that clock. But I still think he's going to have a very impactful day. And I think just given the options, I think the ball's kind of going to get spread around between Quez, AJ, and Devontae, that not one of them will kind of outshine the other. So I'm going to give it to Miles.
Nice. I like that choice a lot. I'm going to just continue with the hot hand. I'm going to go AJ Brown in this one. I think we could see easily one or two scores in the first half. AJ Brown has 4 touchdown catches the last 3 weeks. You look at Jalen Hurts since week 4, 33% of his attempts of 20 yards or more have resulted in a touchdown, and AJ Brown's a huge piece of that. I just don't see the Bears having any answer for AJ Brown downfield. Their chemistry has gotten better and better in recent weeks, and that's where I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go AJ Brown with a couple scores by the end of the first half. I think the Eagles put this team down quickly, 14-17, down 14-17 points in the first half. And there will be big plays, just like we have seen all season long from this offense. So I think the Eagles. Did you give a score prediction? I forget.
No, not officially, but I'm pretty sure on the Birds of the Round Table I said 42-17.
42-17. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm gonna go even higher, man. I'm gonna go 47-20. Overall, a lot of points in this one, but the Bears are going to be scoring a lot of points in the second half when all the Eagles bench players are in. I think we could see a couple of touchdowns from AJ Brown. I think we could see a pick six or a fumble recovery in this one as well from the defense for a touchdown.
Fumble touchdown, that'd be nice.
Yeah, the way this Eagles pass rush gets after it, if you have Justin Fields scrambling in the back there, that's not going to bode well. The Eagles pass rush has been too good. The Eagles pass defense has been too good. I think takeaways and just big plays on offense are going to be the storyline of this game. So let's wrap it up, man. I'll throw it to you. Plugs before we get into that.
Yeah. I was going to say, just wanted to thank everybody for all the support over at Philly Sports Alliance. You can check us out on all major social media, Facebook, Twitter handles right there, Twitch, YouTube. All you got to do is search Philly Sports Alliance. We're also anywhere where you get your podcasts as well. Best way is on Facebook. Put on that automatic notification, because not only will you get all of our shows every week, you'll also get all of the Painted Line shows as well, because they are streaming on our Facebook. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody showing the love. Give us a like, follow, share. Just trying to spread good Philly sports vibes across the nation.
Love it, man. We will be back for halftime live. Me and Ryan. Have you done a halftime show before, Ryan?
I haven't. I have always. I've always been kind of out and about or at the game, or And it's funny, like even when I'm at the game and tailgate, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll try to do something for halftime. You know what? I just got a couple of drinks in there and I forget all about it. I'm probably too busy running the cornhole table, or boards. But yeah, one of these days when I'm down at the stadium, I will set an alarm and I will hop on in my car at the tailgate for a halftime show or for the pregame show or something. One of these days I'll. But today I'm home. I got nothing. I'm right here, locked in. Halftime, baby.
Yeah, it is a totally different animal, Ryan, because you basically have 8 to 10 minutes to talk about this, and this. It's a fun animal because you're racing against the clock to get
all this stuff out.
It's fun. I like it, and it goes like that, man. It's nuts. You'll be get your talking points in, and then all of a sudden, the game's back off. It's pretty fun. So we will be live for halftime, post game as well. Please, wherever you're watching, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. For just help us out. Just help us out.
All of the buttons blindly, and then share it and tell your friends and your family, and talk about it at Christmas. Let's get this thing going. Come on now.
I love it. All right. For Ryan, from myself, we will see you at halftime. Go Birds.
Oh,
stay awesome, everyone.